I always wanted to know what differentiates the best people in their fields from all the rest. That's why I decided to find the experts and see exactly just how they do it. So I take my Rolls Royce and go meet the real mastery. My name is Matt Sierra and welcome to the Legends of Business.
Hi there, this is Matt Sierra, and today we're gonna talk about the legends of the business, and specifically about Elon Musk, because he's a legend alive. He's one of the guys well known worldwide, and he's pretty successful entrepreneur. And as you know, I'm dealing with entrepreneurs and I'm teaching entrepreneurs, and today we're gonna teach ourselves with the wisdom of Elon Musk. There is something called modeling. Modeling means taking the models of someone who is pretty successful in his field and doing the same. Not literally the same, that if you want to model Elon Musk, then you have to open the company which will send people to Mars. But I mean, finding the parts of his personality, of his work ethics, of his routines, and using them in your company, which probably will be as efficient, and that's why you're gonna be as successful in your company, with your business, with your products and services, although you've got probably something completely different to offer. But that's what is it modeling about. It's searching for the model. Of course, it's pretty tough when you don't have some kind of friend like Elon's, because you don't have the possibility to have a coffee with Elon and ask him, "Hey Elon, could you tell me how much do you work? How many hours do you work? How do you focus? Do you work in some parts, chunks of 25 minutes and then 5 minutes of pause, or maybe in chunks of 5 minutes? What do you have in your mind while working? Do you think I have to do it because I'm the master of the world? Or maybe you have something like, let's see if I'm gonna succeed with this one." What do you have? Because those are the things which are really there in the minds and in the habits of entrepreneurial successful people, but it's impossible to just ask them. Yeah, usually. At least I'm not in touch with Elon yet, so maybe you've got you're more privileged and you've got more possibilities. But instead of doing this, we have to find some other way. And modeling is searching for the books, for reading the interviews, watching the videos of Elon, for example, in this case, and creating the model, finding the things between the lines. And you don't have to do it with Elon, because I have already done it for you. So you spare your time and you can just take the model. Of course, none model would be complete, because human being is something so complex that is impossible to create a complete model of a person. Maybe in the future it will be possible, but in the meantime we need some basic things, basic thoughts, some main characteristics that we can copy and use in our daily work. So that's what I did. I've modeled Elon Musk, I've invested into it plenty of hours, and I guess I've got some conclusions which could be easily used by you in your company and in your job. So I guess you spare a lot of time, and I can guarantee to you that this model is really based on Elon's attitude, on what he says, on what is between the lines. So it should work. Or maybe I shouldn't even say it should work, because I know it works, because I also use those elements. What is good about models, that you don't have to take all, because there are parts of each and every model that would be bad for you, or that is just not appealing to you. So from time to time you find something which is not worth your try. For example, one part of the Elon's model is working between 80 and 120 hours per week, which is probably not the thing that most of us would like to consider part of our lives also. Which means that we should avoid this one. Maybe for someone, for some of you, that is not a problem. We'll see. That's why I will show you a couple of different things, and you can pick those which are most appealing to you, and you should notice the difference. We cannot argue about the fact that Elon is pretty successful, that he's one of the richest guys on the planet right now, so his model works. And even taking some parts of it is gonna help you be more productive. And we'll see. Who is Elon Musk? Well, I guess most of the viewers of this program right now perfectly know who Elon is. But not everyone knows who he was before. For example, first Elon's company was called Zip2, and it was like Google Maps 10 years before Google Maps. It was something like this, where you could search for some companies, for their addresses, how to get into there. So in the world of those times, it was something pretty amazing. That's why he sold this company for an amazing amount of money, because he got, maybe not he, but the company was sold for $307 million, and he got 22 millions for himself personally. So it seems that Elon was pretty efficient from the beginning, which is very crucial, very interesting, because it seems that Elon's got this how to call it even, I don't even know it, but it seems that every Elon's business just works and just earns. This is pretty interesting, especially that his next company was called PayPal, and probably you know this company. Maybe some of you didn't know that Elon was one of the guys behind this project, and he sold it for $1.5 billion. So it seems that it was $165 million for him particularly. So he's a pretty efficient guy, as we can see. And right now with Tesla and SpaceX and the Boring company, which he also operates, we see that he does the things that are pretty full of ambition, and they always work. So the question is, why do they work? Is it really possible to change the world where everything bases on some kind of numbers, on some kind of statistics? So some things have to work and others have to fail. But for Elon, it seems that statistics doesn't apply. Why? Or maybe it applies, but there is another rule that if you work like Elon, then it's not gonna fail anytime, even if every other factor shows the sign of failure. You do something what would Elon do, and it's not gonna fail. That's the pretty big promise for this model and this episode, but why not try it? Especially that even if you fail once, then maybe it's gonna be smoother, it's not gonna be so tough, and you're gonna get up quicker. So let's find out what Elon Musk is about. And I'm gonna give you some examples, some of his characteristics and some proofs of those characteristics, and some examples of him doing such a thing, for example, in his life. And then you're gonna think what of this you wanna model, you wanna copy. And I deeply advise you to take notes, because only then you will understand it all and remember it all, because there will be a couple of things, a lot of things really. So you should really take care in order not only to spend a nice time with me, but to really use it, to have some benefit from it. So let's go. The very first thing about Elon's model is that he's a maniac of education. Like, I mean, he always read the books, he attended some seminars, he's learning all the time, every single day. Even after those years of successes, he learns on a daily basis. He still reads books, and he learns from his engineers, from his company. So he always goes forward with education. And it doesn't necessarily mean the official formal education, as he dropped Stanford after probably 2 days, more or less, of attending this university, which means that he considers the education pretty important, but only if we're talking about practical thing. We're gonna get back to it in a moment, but right now I'd like to tell you that every single success in life is about education. Yeah, like if I think, for example, that one day I would be some kind of very famous tennis trainer, and today I know nothing about tennis, then I would need what? Skills, more skills. So education, learning all the time. Every single problem or challenge that you can encounter in your life or in your business had already been solved by someone else. And many people all around the world doing all of the stuff possible are willing to share their knowledge. There are some companies, some big tech companies, which are hiding their secrets, but in normal daily life, most of the people who solved some problems would be more than happy in sharing their solutions with others, because this is pure fun. That's it. So that's why I've created my channel, because I've solved so many problems in my business that I just know that it could be helpful for other entrepreneurs. So why not do it? And that's it. Which means that the solution is almost always in education. If you know more, if you understand more, if you learn more, then finally something which appeared to be pretty huge challenge finally gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's it. So even Harv Eker said once that there are no two big problems. Maybe you're just too small. And that's it. We have to grow bigger in order to make the problems smaller. That's what Elon does. And that's why even when he was just 6, his library, because most of the people don't know that he's not American, he's from South Africa. And in Pretoria, his family city, when he was 6, he had all the books in the local library read already. He had read all. And that's why he stopped attending this place, and he had visited some bookstores in order to sit there for hours and read something else. And they had to have more books for him to be read. So he was a maniac. It wasn't even normal education. It was a maniac type of education, but it worked. He's pretty intelligent guy right now, and it's always about education. That's why you should think this way, yeah? Instead of thinking that I'm not good enough to do something, I'm not an appropriate person for some kind of business, better you should think, okay, what should I learn? What do I need to know in order to make this kind of success in the future? Not tomorrow, not the day after tomorrow, but in a month, in a year, in 10 years, and doing it long run, but basing it all on your own education, because the kind of knowledge, every kind of knowledge helps you in life. Which brings us to the second one, which is doing only the practical stuff. That's why Elon dropped Stanford, not because Stanford is not a practical university, no, because Elon said that for him, in his particular situation, it wasn't a good idea to waste his time there, because he was even smarter than they were, and he knew everything what was important. That's why he didn't waste time. He is not against the formal classical education, because he graduated from 2 other universities. So he just thought that this one wasn't as practical in his case. So he doesn't do things that couldn't really help him in life. What is it? Why is it so interesting? Because we tend to finish all the things that we start. Yeah, even some of you maybe are visiting are studying on some university, at some university that you don't like to. some of you are working at the place that you don't like to, but you work there because you started. Maybe you started recently, so you don't want to drop it as quickly. Elon would drop it right away, during the second day probably. Even from time to time, you watch some Netflix series and you see the first episode is not appealing. It's boring or too much violence or too less violence for some of you. And you think, no, this is a shitty series. But then you watch another one, the second episode. And then you think, well, the situation is not getting better, but, well, I've already seen 2 episodes. So maybe I'm gonna see another 6 in order to complete the series. And you watch the whole season of something that you're not interested in. We do the same with books. Yeah? After 20 pages of the books of a book, you know that this book is shitty. You don't want to learn from it anymore, or you just don't find it nice, interesting. But we read the whole book, and that's what we usually do. What can we learn from Elon is immediately dropping the things that are not beneficial for us. It's gonna spare us a lot of time, a lot of stress also, and we're gonna gain more success and gather more money using only the things that are appropriate for your particular situation in life. It doesn't mean some specific things, because there is no model for specific things for everyone of us, because every one of us is completely different. So what is practical? I don't know. You know what could be beneficial for your life, for your business life, for your private life, and so on. So that's it. The next part of the Elon's model is that he likes investing money. He invests money, and most of entrepreneurs that I know don't invest their money. They only consume their money. So they earn, and they then consume. Like they are buying cars, they are buying phones, watches, etc. But which is not bad if done properly, which means if done in the right moment, when you already invested more, when you reinvested into your company, when you have all the company running, when you're safe, then you can buy yourself something, to buy yourself a pedigree. But in the meantime, you should invest. And Elon doesn't have any problems with investing. He invests in his company 1, 2, 3. After selling each company, he invests 99% of the money that he gets into the next one. He doesn't buy 10 more homes, 10 more cars, but he invests almost all the money into the next entrepreneurial project. So that's pretty nice. And most of the entrepreneurs think of their companies only like a source of income for themselves, source of the way for fulfilling the dreams, which of course, in fact, it is. But after some time of investing, reinvesting, that's why it's pretty funny that I know a lot of people, and I was once one of them, who are scared of investing because they say Bitcoin is too fragile. Shares are given too small amounts of money. Real estate demands too much money, so I don't have money. And anyway, I could lose all my money investing in stocks, investing in Bitcoin, investing in real estate, so I could lose my money. But I don't have the same thought when buying a new iPhone, that they will certainly lose all their money, which they spent buying it. So this is strange, yeah? So strange but normal at the same time. Normal means popular here, so Elon definitely prefers investing than consuming. And it is something which always helps an entrepreneur, no matter the size his company is. So that's it. The next one is something that I call likability. Like Elon is one of those guys who's pretty likable. Yeah, I would like to have a coffee with Elon. That's a nice thought. Probably I'm not convinced if I would like to have a coffee with Bill Gates, for example. Even if Steve Jobs lived, I'm not so sure if I really wanted to meet him. because probably he was the guy who was not as likable. And Elon seems likable. You can even find the videos on YouTube with Bill Gates approached by some people in the streets, and he just ignores them. Like the guy who would just think that the people are the problem here. Yeah, so I should avoid this kind of situation. He's always with a group of great guys who are defending him, and people are asking him questions, and he just ignores everything. He goes to the building and then closes the door, and not Bill Gates anymore. Not the same with Elon. There are plenty of videos on YouTube when you can find out that Elon just stops by when someone approaches him in the street, that it is possible, that probably he's got some security hidden there with guns. But this is not as obvious. He's still approachable, I would say. So people approach him, asking him questions, and he says, yeah, Dogecoin to the moon, Bitcoin is great, and answering them questions about Tesla, and he's smiling, and it seems that he's having fun with those random people in the streets. He's really likable. He's a nice guy, maybe a strange one, but a nice one. So it always helps in business. Yeah, if you're likable, if people like you, then you use one of the basic rules of humanity, of psychology, because we as people, as animals, have the two basic needs. We go towards happiness, towards pleasure, and try to avoid pain. Yeah? So if you become the pleasure, then people go towards you, working for you, investing in your company, buying your products. That's what Elon did. He's likable, he's a pleasure, and I'm pretty convinced that plenty of people bought Tesla not because they like Tesla, but because they love Elon. That's it. So, likability. For some of us, it's pretty default setting. Yeah, that you're likable because you're a pretty open person, extrovert. And for some of us, like me, who was always an introvert, it's kind of thing to be learned. That's why I read plenty of books on the topic. Yeah, like, for example, Dale Carnegie's How to Influence People and so on, How to Influence. That was the main part that interested me. So, yeah, we have to learn it in order to be better at it. Likability. The next one is something that I would call softness. Yeah, like Elon Musk doesn't seem the guy who is tough and really brutal and aggressive, and I can't even think of the meeting of Tesla board of directors when Elon is shouting and threatening all the people that he will fire them if they don't work harder. Well, probably from time to time it happens, but I guess not frequently. In comparison to Steve Jobs, for example, who was famous for doing such the things, for making the atmosphere unpleasant around him, I guess Elon's winning here, definitely. So this kind of softness helps a lot, because it's a part of this kind of likability that I discussed before, but it also adds something more. Yeah, this is the guy who is so rich, so successful, who's the CEO, so we have to listen to him, but still he's so soft. We know he's not gonna kill us. Yeah, he's just putting the energy into us. He likes us, he sends us his good energy, but he doesn't want to destroy us. He wants us to just create something together. This softness helps him a lot. That's why probably he was bullied in the school time, and he was bullied strongly. Like, he even got into hospital for 1 week with a broken nose and ribs, probably. Nose definitely, because even recently he had some surgery relating to that event from 35 years ago. So it was pretty serious, because he wasn't the type of guy who wanted to use his fists who wanted to punch other kids. He was just a nice guy. From time to time, it wasn't as safe for him as he finished in a hospital, but I guess in business, it can be a really interesting feature. Okay, let's go on. One very important part of Elon's model is being strange. We all know that Elon Musk is a strange guy. Yeah, if you don't believe it, then you should Google for the video when he opens some kind of presentation for Chinese investors by dancing. And I thought that I couldn't dance. But what he showed on the stage was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, you have to have really strong balls, big balls, in order to present such kind of dance. But for Elon, it's not a problem because he's a strange guy and he does strange things. And that's why while answering Joe Rogan's question, he smoked the weed and drank some alcohol. Well, for him, doing strange things is just part of life. And it's a very important thing because people tend to get uniformized, I would call it this way. Yeah, like everyone would like, subconsciously, of course, but everyone would like to be the same as others. Yeah, like not saying something which could be seen as wrong or inappropriate, not doing something in order not to hurt someone, in order not to be judged, scrutinized, something like this, which is bullshit. This is pure bullshit because if you don't have your individual characteristic, then you're no one for the market. Yeah, and Elon Musk is so specific that you cannot mix him with anyone else. You cannot make a mistake. Yeah, like who was the CEO of the Tesla? Was it Bill Gates? No, it's just impossible. It's just impossible because he's so strange and he doesn't want to cover it up. Yeah, he just likes it. And that's it. If you get to like yourself, your characteristics, even your strange parts, the strangest parts of you that are there, then you become more congruent, then it's gonna become easier for you to do everything in your life. For example, when I prepare this program, of course there's some kind of marketing stuff here, yeah, like this car, my suit, and so on. But marketing is also a part of me. But another part of me is not being too serious. That's why I'm using stupid jokes. That's why I'm using harsh words from time to time, because that's the way the things are in my life. So why should I avoid it? Why should I be too nice, for example, or too direct? If I can just say, or too indirect in this case, if I just can do that job, yeah, like I want and like I feel it in my heart, and that's it. If you start accepting you as a strange person, because every one of us is a little bit strange. Every one of us has whether a strange passion, like someone buys only cactus and he's got plenty of them in his house, and this is nice, this is fun, this is great. Someone else has 4 cats. This is great. I'm a language maniac. I need to know 10 languages. I have to. That's why I'm working hard in order to reach this goal. And that's the part of me that is strange, because there's lack of logic there. Why would someone do it if you can communicate English anywhere in the world? But the logic doesn't apply in life, really. So you should rather be yourself. Of course, it sounds like a truism, but you should notice that a part of a truism, the word, is true. Yeah, so that's why that's why life is so simple from time to time. So being strange is something that is pretty nice. That's why he says the things like, for example, one day, if I'm gonna be rich enough to buy Facebook, I'm gonna buy it only to close it, to shut it up. So this is the funny part of Elon, and yeah, that's why he invests in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because he's a strange guy. He likes to do very strange things, and that's why one of his company is called the Boring Company. And I would say that they are not doing the boring things, but he called it the Boring Company probably because comparing to sending people to Mars, preparing some kind of hyperloop which would eliminate the traffic in Los Angeles sounds boring. So that's Elon. He's strange, and there's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing bad about it, and neither in your personal case. What's more about Elon's model? There are his visions, his crazy visions to from sending people to Mars, to creating the car company which will have only electric mobiles, electric vehicles, but of great range, beautiful cars, designer style cars. Yeah. So why not change the whole car industry in the world? That was one of the Elon's morning question. Just after he had his pee, then he thought, before he had his breakfast, he thought, why not change the world economy? And that's Elon. And of course, it's hard to have such great vision right in the beginning of your company if you're just not sure even if you're gonna succeed with anything, if your company will exist in 1 year. But with time, you should increase the quality of your visions, because if you don't have great visions, you will not have great results. It's pretty obvious, but nowadays it's always easier to have smaller visions because we don't want to feel like failure if we don't succeed. But ambition is something that is, well, this is running the world. Stagnation ruins the world. Yeah, so which one would you pick? That's the question for today. What's more, we were talking about his attitude toward investments, like he likes investing, but also he doesn't fear of having the investors. That's why Tesla is a public company and has a lot of investors. And frequently, we as entrepreneurs have fear of having investors, and sometimes even it's legit. Like, I'm pretty happy that I don't have any investors in my companies, and I don't plan to have ones in the future, because for me, it takes out my liberty, my freedom. Yeah, because then I have to fulfill the needs of my investors, and not only fulfill the needs of my customers. And fulfilling the needs of both groups is sometimes pretty hard, maybe even sometimes impossible. But not only this, because another problem with investors, especially when you're public, when you go public, is that you have to listen to watch out your words. Because if you say 2 words too much, you can end up in jail. Or for example, like in case of Elon Musk history, when once he said something on Twitter, like some Saudi Arabia company will invest into Tesla millions of millions, and just for this tweet, which was not confirmed, and he as a CEO doesn't have the right to say such the things publicly because they change the value of shares. So he was manipulating the market, consciously or not, but he did it, and he paid more or less $25 million of punishment for this. So, this is pretty dangerous thing. But Elon says it was worth it, that this kind of marketing is worth it. Yeah, because every business newspaper in the world was writing about it. Yeah, Elon paid 25 million bucks and so on. So he said that he really earned on it. So it's one of Elon's characteristics. This is the one that I'm not gonna take for myself, but for some of you, it would be advisable, as some of you have this fear, which is, well, some of you should have public companies. That's the truth. Some of you have this big balls to have it. That would be a really great help for your company, to have investors, to grow faster, to invest more money in the future thanks to those investors and so on. So for some of you, it is a really good idea. And that's why I'm discussing it now, because it's a part of Elon's model. So maybe it's gonna help some of you. What's more, Elon knows how to give him a hug, a pedigree, a prize. You know, because from time to time we tend to think that all those rich guys probably only work, especially in such a case like Elon Musk, who is a pretty strange guy. Then we tend to think that this guy probably works always. He works, and he never gives him any gratification. So what's the reason to copy such the guy? Yeah, I don't want to work all the time and never give myself some kind of prize, some kind of pedigree. Yeah, I don't want this kind of life, of course, but neither does he. Because, for example, each and every anniversary he organizes some pretty nice birthday party. For example, he lends some big castle in Scotland in order to organize the party with his rich friends and so on. So when he sold his first company, of course he invested most of the money, but he spent some of the money to buy a brand new McLaren, and he had a lot of fun with it. So right now he doesn't need to buy the cars because he's got plenty of them in his own factory, but in the past he did it. So it's not like this. He knows how to use life also, how to appreciate life. Maybe he doesn't spend too much time appreciating life, but from time to time he uses this ability, and he has it. So it's also important because, especially when we're beginners, when we start the company and we work too much, yeah, because every time when you begin with the company, you have to work really long hours, yeah, like 100 hours per week is something pretty normal for each entrepreneur who just began recently, yeah. So first year is gonna look like this, probably the second one also. The third one shouldn't, but first definitely. So the question is, or the problem is, that you should avoid being or becoming workaholic, yeah? Because I know people, entrepreneurs, who work this way for the 10th year in a row right now. Or I know guys who weren't on any kind of vacation for last 17 years because they work all the time. That is a bullshit. You need to give yourself some kind of gratification, of course, in a right moment, after you invest, after you succeed with something, but still it's a part of life. If you avoid social interactions, nice things that you appreciate, like travel or other things that are important to you, then you're gonna be screwed. You could be unhappy, full of anxiety and so on. So we have to take care of ourselves. That's it. And Elon can. Probably, maybe he's not perfect, but still, at least he tries. And we also have to search for this balance in our lives. What's more important about Elon is that he's the guy who solves the problems. That's kind of definition of entrepreneur. Yeah, an entrepreneur is a person who solves their problems. Whose problems? His own, his workers' problems, his company's problems, and foremost, his customers' problems. Your customers pay you for solving their problems. And Elon likes it. Some people don't like it. Some people shouldn't be entrepreneurs because they quickly get overwhelmed by the problems. We've got tax problems, we don't know how to prepare some kind of invoice, we don't know how to export our services or products. If we're gonna export the product from US to Mexico or import from Mexico to US, then we're gonna have so many problems to solve. It's so tough, it's so complicated, I don't like to do it. If you're really gonna succeed, if you really wanna succeed, you have to like to do it. You have to like solving the problems, a lot of problems, every day new problems. I know that maybe some guy representing the law of attraction showed you the world which is simple, easy, and which works like the catalog of dreams. You just sit down, close your eyes and think about the world. What should it give you? The world, I want to have a Ferrari. Give me the Ferrari. I have a good energy, a lot of love towards the world. So I'd love to have a Ferrari. But the real life of entrepreneur is full of shit. You get up, then you start solving the problems one by one. Well, it's full of shit in the beginning because after a couple of years, you start loving it. Really, like new problems. Let's go. You're like a fighter of some kind of MMA fighter. And okay, gimme the new enemy. Who's my enemy today? Tax office. Okay, let's get back to it. My customers don't want to buy my products. Let's get to this business. My Facebook blocked my account. That was the case in my company 2 days ago. Let's get back to it. Let's solve this. Let's find the solutions. Let's search for the solutions, because I deeply believe in the theory which says that if there is a problem, it means that there is a solution. Like it's two parts of the same coin. Like if you see one part, it's the proof that there is another part. It proves. The existence of the problem proves the existence of the solution. That's what Elon also believes, and I believe it deeply. And that's how to be successful in life. Not crying when you have problems, because you can always choose to be a victim, but it doesn't work. Well, at least, somehow it works, because people will say that's a pity. You've got a so tough life, your parents were so harsh and so on. Of course, you've got all the possibilities in your life and you can choose to be a victim, but it's not gonna change your life. Or, it's gonna change your life, but not in the way that is interesting and advisable. So I would say, why not choose to be the solver of all the problems of your company and your customers. That's the way to the riches. So that's what Elon does, especially when he works in the tech companies, like how to create the battery which will be alive which will give my car the possibility to travel 1,000 miles, which is impossible for electric cars today, but tomorrow we'll see. It's gonna change, but how to change it? That's the question, how to change it. Now, is it really possible? No, that's the shitty question. The right one is how to change it. How to implement it, how to send people to Mars in 10 years, for example. How? That's an important kind of attitude. Another important kind of attitude is not treating life too seriously. Elon, of course, he does serious things, because his businesses are really big and he's gonna really change the world. He's already started. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he's serious all the time and that he doesn't joke. He makes a lot of jokes on Twitter, for example. For some of them, he was punished by law. But generally speaking, he makes a lot of funny things. He even invites some millionaire friends for his birthday parties in order to change their clothes or playing hide and seek with them. Really, It's a true story. So even this Tesla Roadster, which right now is in cosmos with American flag and so on, why is it there? Because it's funny. It was funny enough for Elon to do it. And he does a lot of funny things, like calling the company the boring company, or this dance for Chinese investors. So that's it. We shouldn't treat our lives too seriously, because anyway, those lives will end one day, and that convinces us that we don't really have much to lose. I'm gonna get back to it, because it's also another interesting part of Elon's model. So we shouldn't treat our lives too seriously. That's pretty important stuff, because if you're getting too serious, then you're becoming a loser. Yeah, because you're worried all the time and you're afraid of taking some risks and so on. What's more, long-term visions. That's part of Elon's story. Yeah, like he was talking about sending people to Mars during his 6th birthday party. He opened the door, and he opened the door for his friend. She was Lisa probably, and asked her. She said, "Hi Elon, I wish you all the best." And he asked her, "Hi Lisa, do you think that one day we will send people to Mars?" And yeah, he was strange, but it means that he was thinking about it so long ago. He's even forced to have long-term visions because of the topics that he puts his fingers in. Yeah, because if you work with electric cars, if you work with hyperloops, if you work with neural chips, if you work with rockets, then you always plan for 10 years, 20 years. But it helps a lot, especially in the world when most of us don't even know what they're gonna do in 2 weeks. Yeah, do you have your plans for yourself and your company? I always have my plans for at least 1 year ahead. In more specific plans for 1 year, and less specific plans for 3 years. That's my strategy. And Elon's strategy is to have plans for 10 years even. Of course, having the plans doesn't necessarily mean that you will always stick to them, because life changes, life is unpredictable. No one knew that there could be a pandemic, for example, or some economic depression, or some various things can happen, of course. Or even you will change your ideas, because your character will change with time. So you will be interested with something completely different. You will change even maybe continents. Yeah, there will be a lot of changes, but having the plan, having the direction is something that is always a good idea to do. Yeah, so you should maybe even stop this recording right now, stop this video, and create the plan, the written plan, because only the written plans work. That's the very important part. And the same he has when talking about relationships. Elon always searches for love. Of course, he's not too effective in this topic, because he's easy to lose those relationships because of his work style. Yeah, like imagine this: especially if you're a lady, having a husband who works 120 hours per week in 2 different states. Yeah, and working all the time, and in the meantime he visits his 6 or 7 sons. So how much time would he have for you? Maybe it would be fun in the beginning. Maybe someone would see this as an opportunity to have money, not having a necessity to spend time with a husband. Yeah, maybe it would work for someone, but I guess for a normal person, this is not kind of great relationship. Yeah, the money won't buy you this time. So that's why he's not pretty effective, efficient with maintaining the long-term relationships. But still, he always says that he aims to have long-term relationships, and he doesn't search for a one-night story. And I guess this is pretty explainable, because successful people have their visions, visions for years. That's why it's so natural, and so that's why it's so easy to explain why so many millionaires, why most of millionaires have their wives for years instead of every Friday a new girlfriend. Why millionaires generally, in most of them, not everyone, but most of them, avoid such kind of one-night relationships and so on, because that's part of their character, that they search for long-term visions, long-term strategies, that they solve problems, and that's the only way to save the marriage, solve the problems all the time, and that's it. So long-term visions. Do you have yours? Sales. Another thing that Elon understands is that you have to sell your products. Your products or services will not sell by themselves, even if they are the best products in the market. You have to sell them. Once, when Tesla was almost going bankrupt, he organized a meeting of his company and told them, right now, I don't care if you're an engineer, I don't care if you're a factory worker, whatever. Starting from now on, you're all salesmen. You have to sell Tesla cars. You have to call all your friends and talk with them about our cars. You have to visit Facebook and type more about Tesla and electric revolution. You have to sell everywhere. You have to attend some seminars. You have to learn how to sell. And you have to talk about our company everywhere, every time, always. And otherwise, we're gonna shut it down and sell it to Google, because that was the deal. That was part of the deal that Tesla, that Elon was already in some negotiations with Google. So it was really the final vision if they didn't succeed. But they succeeded because they finally understood that they have to sell. So the best products in the market will not defend by themselves. You will have to defend them by marketing them, by promoting them, by buying Facebook ads, by buying Google ads, by creating personal brand, by creating some YouTube account, TikTok account, a lot of things and possibilities. But you have to go there, even if you hate selling, even if you hate marketing, you have to have it in your team. You have to have a person in your team who's gonna do it. Your perfect product and genius service will not earn even a single dollar without promotion, without marketing. This is a pretty important thing. The next part of Elon's model is working between 80 and 120 hours per week. This is a shitty part of the model, I would say, but during the first 2 years, it's gonna be an interesting thing, especially for those of you who have I know some people who seem allergic to work. Like they would like to earn, they would like to have stuff. They would like to appreciate life, but not work too much. There are some countries like France when they are discussing if people should work 35 hours per week. Then, in a couple of years, they will start thinking, maybe why not 30 hours? Then they will start thinking, why not 20 hours? And then they will start thinking, why to work? I've got the answer. Why to work? Because there are only 3 ways to have money. First one is to work. The second one is to become a beggar. Asking others for money. And the third one is to steal. Like, for example, being a politician is kind of using the third way. Because then you steal the money from other people who really don't need you. Because without you, the world would be better. Without those politicians. So that's it. Only 3 ways. Which one would you like to choose? Stealing? Because you know why is it possible for some kind of rich countries to work only 35 hours per week? It's by stealing. There are some countries which are colonized. Of course, nowadays it's not as official because it would sound bad. But the truth is that there are some countries which are slaves. Although, there are no slaves, but somehow it works this way, yeah, that the economic of a rich country depends on the economic and hard work of poorer people. So, yeah, so then we can discuss about working 30 hours per week and how is it gonna be possible that we're gonna have so much money to drive nice cars, to have nice homes without this work? Well, we're gonna steal the hours of work of other people living in the other parts of the world, and they are gonna work 100 hours per week for us to have this kind of stuff. Why not work by yourself? Maybe I'm not advising you to work 100 hours per week, only in the beginning of your business, but then working in business between 40 and 60 hours per week is a completely normal thing. And people are crying nowadays. I have to work. You know, if there would be the possibility to choose between only two options, overwork yourself, like working 60 hours per week always, or not working at all, and there wouldn't be some kind of intermediary options like right now 2 weeks I'm gonna work hard and then I'm gonna go on vacation, but I would just have to pick between those two options. I would definitely pick the second one, yeah, I would pick the one with working a bit too much, because living without working would get most of the people into depression, into alcoholism, into drug addiction, because if people have too much spare time, they are losing it. They are losing their time and their lives, because work is a natural part of life. And nowadays there are plenty of internet coaches who tell you that one day you're gonna create your system for richness that will allow you not to work anymore. Why not to work anymore, shitty person? Why not to work? Working means giving. Yeah, because working means creating the company, for example, creating the product, the service, which will make others people's lives better. Maybe it's only gonna be a brick in the wall of their happiness, of their I don't know, of their better lives. Yeah, but it's gonna be it. If you stop working and you would only like to consume, then you're an egoist. Yeah, you're only thinking about yourself. So I don't really understand all those people who, there is a theory which says that, baby boomers are those people who know what hard work is, and millennials don't want to work. They are allergic to work. I don't personally believe it. I don't personally see the proofs of this in the real life, normal daily life. I see the lazy people in each and every group of the people, and in each group in each age group, yeah, in each race, each I don't know, each sex, and so on. So I guess this is just the individual attitude of yours. If you pick to work, to give something from yourself to others, or not. Elon doesn't have any single problem with that. He even says that he always has to work the most from the whole company in order to show them all that no matter how much they work, he's gonna be the best one. So they couldn't ever say that he earns using them. He earns on them, yeah, like he's on Bahamas drinking some nice drinks, and they are working hard because he's always working harder. So that's kind of fair attitude, I would say. Of course, I'm not advising you not to have any kind of holiday, but yeah, you should work hard. Of course, you should also work smart, and that's the way to riches. Not working is not the way, nor to riches, neither to happiness. So maybe to alcoholism. Another thing is obsession. Elon has the obsession. He talks all the time about his goals, about his rockets, about people on the Mars. His ex-wife tells the press that it was pretty tough to live with a guy like this, because she was never able, or almost never able, to talk to him about normal things, yeah? like a new Netflix series, like a travel to Mexico, because he was always interested in rockets. And even during the travel to Mexico, he would speak about rockets and people in the Mars. So that's the kind of obsession which is pretty common among the successful people, that they are obsessed. They all the time, they think about the things that they are doing, their companies, their products, their future products, and so on. I've got this obsession with languages, for example. That's why I've created the Institute of Linguistics, and I'm thinking about languages all the time. I'm so pretty happy when I watch some Netflix series and I never watch nor read anything in my native language, always English, Spanish, Portuguese, and so on, in order to learn something new. And I'm so happy if they use the word that I didn't know before, because I've got this possibility to learn something new, not only to have fun with the series, but also to learn something new, reading the book the same, with dictionary in my hand, checking the words that I didn't know before. So it makes me happy. This is my kind of obsession, and it helps me a lot in business, because then we can create better language courses, because we are thinking about it all the time, because I have a couple of other language maniacs in the team. So it works this way. If you've got this obsession, which means probably that you do something that you like doing, then the probability that you will reach the success, that you will reach your goals, is much, much higher than in the situation where someone does something that is boring and he does it only for money. Probably, paradoxically, when you don't do it as much for money or only for money, you will earn a lot more money than otherwise. So that's it, obsession. Good relations with people. That's another part of Elon's strategy. For example, Elon has a lot of girlfriends and even one ex-wife, but he doesn't do what the celebrities would do, go into the press and saying that my ex-husband was an idiot, he wanted to destroy me, he was the source of all of my problems. No, Elon doesn't do it. Elon says only good thing about his ex-wife or about his ex-girlfriends, but also about his ex-workers, ex-business partners, and so on. That's the deliberate strategy which you have to choose if you want to be successful. Because if you want to cure your wounds in public, then you're gonna be destroyed in the future, because plenty of people will avoid making business with you, yeah? Because if you say, for example, in media or whatever, if you say to your workers that you had a shitty wife, because she was stupid and she was cheating on me, and you will tell everything, then maybe one of your workers would be your future wife. But when she listens to those stories that you're really a problematic person and you're really saying bad things of people, then her urge to have a date with you is getting smaller, yeah? Because the same story with potential business partners, yeah? People are listening to you and they think, oh man, he's so negative, he's living into his past, he's treating himself as a victim, I don't want to really make this 1 million contract with him. So the question is, if you leave shit behind you or nice perfumes. That's it. That's the thing that you always have to do. One of my friends say, when someone tells him, he's a celebrity in my country, very well-known person, and when people tell him that you're kind of loser because right now you've got the third wife, so you had 2 failed marriages. And he says, no, that's not true. I had 2 great, amazing marriages. They just stopped. They just ended. Well, and right now I've got the 3rd amazing marriage. That's nice, yeah? Because then people from the outside know that this guy solves his problem inside his house or inside his company and so on. Yeah, he doesn't go out with them and showing the whole world like, look, this wife did hurt me, yeah, doing something. This business partner did something to me. It's not important. I'm gonna take care of my business by myself, and then I'm saying whether good things about people or nothing. That's also Elon Musk's strategy, which you should definitely follow, because this is the strategy which would make the world a better place. Definitely. If all the people in the world, imagine this, stopped saying bad things about their ex-wives, husbands, co-workers, colleagues, and so on, everything would be just better. That's it. What's more, Elon Musk never cancels the meetings or dates. So for him, the calendar is the thing that we have to follow always, no matter what. Tsunami, earthquake, I don't care. If there is a meeting, 2 p.m. in my schedule, I have to be there. It's impossible to cancel it. So many of us cancel their meetings. Of course, there are some things that are not in our control. Yeah, like you get sick, yeah, and then you have to cancel the meeting. But those are the minority. Sometimes we just cancel the meeting because we just feel blue today, or we think that maybe this is not the appropriate day to do it. Always when I record something which demands a huge amount of my energy, then always in the morning I have this feeling that maybe I'm just gonna inform everyone that today we're not gonna record. We're not gonna record those videos, and if I record in foreign languages, like right now, it's even more energy consuming. And that's why the urge to cancel it, to move it to another day, is even higher, is even bigger. But I can't do it. I have to do my job, because everyone has it in his plans. Yeah, like other people have it in their calendar that today, between those hours, we're gonna record, we're gonna drive, and so on. The same with language classes. When I practice languages and I book some class, I'm using the platform called Italki for it. Perfect, great platform. When I use it, and for example, something happens that I can't be on the Skype at 2 p.m. with my Portuguese teacher, for example, then I tell them that I'm not gonna be there, but I don't want you to give me the money back. Yeah, and they always have this impulse that no, it's not a problem. I will give you the money back. There is an option in Italki app to do it, but I forbid them to do it. I tell them no. If I did it 1 week before, then maybe it would be okay. But if I'm calling you right now that in 2 hours I'm not gonna be there, then your time is wasted, because you're not gonna find anyone instead of me who wants to learn Portuguese in 2 hours. Yeah, so you booked this time for me, and this time is gonna be wasted. So in order not to waste it, I have to pay you normally. And then they get to understand, yeah, and then they see me as a professional, yeah, like, because I prefer to pay a person and to waste my money instead of waste their time if they booked it for me. It's just a matter of respect. Yeah, I respect those people and their calendars, their life, and it's just the right thing to do. So easy, as simple as that. So that's it. Even once, when one of Elon's girlfriend wanted to cancel the meeting because she told him that she had to study, so she was supposed to visit the library instead of go to buy some ice cream with Elon. When she visited the library, she found out that Elon was there with ice cream, and Elon told her that why not to do both. Yeah, you can study, but we can still be together and eat the ice cream, because you should never cancel. That was one of his early age situations. So that's it. Pretty important things. What's more? Never giving up. This is kind of cliche right now. Nowadays, everyone says, never give up, you shouldn't give up. It's pretty obvious, but it's not as easy in practice as in theory. Yeah? Everyone says, never give up, never give up. And then you approach a beautiful girlfriend and she says that you're an idiot and she's gonna never have a date with you. And then you think, no, I'm never gonna try again with girls. Maybe I should just be alone forever. Then you start up the company, and after 1 year you go, you just fall, you go bankrupt, and you say, I'm not an entrepreneur, I shouldn't continue, yeah? Then you've got some kind of party, and the very next day you've got a hangover, and you say, I'm never gonna drink more. And what? 2 weeks later, you're drunk again. So that's life, yeah? That's why there's no reason to give up. Well, the only reason, appropriate reason to give up would be continuing doing the thing which is not crucial in your life, which is not making it better. Yeah, because from time to time you will see that something doesn't give you the passion, the energy that you had thought that it would give you. Yeah, like once I thought that maybe I should record something about psychology, about philosophy, about happiness, and after recording 2 episodes, I felt like shit. Yeah, I'm not the appropriate person to do such a thing. There's Eckhart Tolle doing this, and he's 1,000 times better than me. I should focus on business and languages because those are my topics, and I could speak for years about it. So that's it. So it's gonna change, and that's the only possibility to give up on something. And not succeeding in something is not the appropriate reason to stop. Pretty important thing. Okay, what's more? Elon doesn't have much to lose because he believes that we all live in some kind of simulation. It can sound strange, but he even hired 2 great physicians to prove it. And they claim they have proven it. I'm not pretty convinced, but what I'm convinced of is that this theory helps him be happy and take greater risks and do better businesses. Why? Because in his case, when he says that we're living in a simulation, and his proof goes like this, imagine this. We have computers and internet only for, let's say, 40, 50 years, yeah? And right now we've got games like The Sims, for example. And the graphics are really good, and the fun is pretty nice, yeah? So only after 50 years. And Elon's question is it possible that somewhere in the world, in the cosmos, there is some kind of planet where some kind of beings have been developing computers not for 50 years, but for 50,000 years? Would it be possible to create the Sims number 327, where those Sims have their brains, have possibility to think, to make decisions, have their awareness and consciousness? And he says, well, it's not even possible. It's more than sure. It's impossible, or at least improbable, that it didn't happen. And he says that probably we're kind of those Sims. This is kind of theory which doesn't make me feel nice. But for him, it's good. How can we model something like this? I model it in a different way, because I've got kind of different belief, but of the same sort. In my case, my belief goes like this, that there is some kind of good energy which is above us all, which is for some called God, for some called just good energy, love, whatever. But it is there, and I'm pretty convinced that it is there. And no matter what happens in our lifetime, what kind of shit could happen, problems and situation, yeah, and so on, experiences, finally we're gonna be happy there as a part of this energy. And it makes me it makes me a happiest person, a happier person, but also it makes me take more risks, because what really can I lose? Yeah. If in the end, in 40 years, even the most serious problems that I can encounter in my lifetime, in 40 years, they are gonna be gone. That's it. And I'm gonna be somewhere else having fun. So that's it. So I don't necessarily believe the Elon's belief, but I believe something else. But it's a good idea to have a belief which makes your life easier, because this is kind of deep belief, which makes everything a bit lighter, a bit easier. That's it. So find your belief. Maybe you've got one, but you don't think about it so frequently as you should. Maybe you should remind it to yourself. Maybe you should, I don't know, get back to some church, or get back to some books, philosophical books or New Age books, whatever. I'm not gonna find the right way for you, because I'm pretty busy searching the way for myself. But I'm pretty sure that there is a way for every one of us. Yeah, and there is some kind of philosophy that each of us could implement in order to be happier, and in order to be calmer, and in order to understand that we've got nothing to lose, really, because that's the truth. And the last truth about Elon Musk, and the last part of his model, is using his own influence. He's creating his personal brand, and he's pretty aware of it. Like, it's not by accident. He's just aware that he's Elon Musk, that this name means something. He's aware that plenty of people bought Tesla not because they dreamt of Tesla, but they wanted to be friends with Elon Musk. Something like this, yeah? Like, plenty of people bought iPhones not because they preferred iPhones to something else, but they wanted to have something created by Steve Jobs. This is called personal brand, and is a great strategy. There is even a research which shows which proves that the companies, even the biggest ones, which show their CEO to the world, are growing faster, are earning more, and so on, because we prefer to get into business with people instead of companies. That's why if the company has a real living person in front of it, then we're much more likely to buy something from this person, from this company, and just to like this company, because it's harder to like a company than to like a person. And Elon Musk understands his role perfectly. Even he uses this influence to earn more. He creates his brand, showing himself in interviews and so on, in press. But also, for example, once he said Bitcoin, nothing more. He just put the word Bitcoin on his Twitter account in order to check the possibility of his influence in the cryptocurrency market. And when he saw that after this one thing, Bitcoin price went up 10%, he decided to buy a lot of Bitcoin. And after a couple of weeks, he published this information that he bought a lot of Bitcoins, because he knew that only publishing this information would make the Bitcoin price much bigger. And probably he sold those Bitcoins at this time. Of course, he didn't admit it, so we're not sure. But this change of Bitcoin price was so huge that only with those 2 tweets, he earned more money than selling Tesla cars for the whole year. So that's the power of a personal brand. That's so important. That's why I guess no matter what you do, no matter what are your products or services, you should show yourself as the face of this company. You should be likable, and you should be the living part of this company, because people will want to buy from you instead of buying from your company. And also, the competition will not have you. Because there are plenty of companies right now who are producing electric cars, but none of them have Elon Musk. That's why it's much harder for them. It was the same with Apple, who had Steve Jobs. And who's the CEO of Samsung? Do you know the guy? I don't. Well, I saw him a couple of times, but I don't know the guy. That's why it's so important to be the face of your company. You should learn more about personal branding. I will prepare some episodes on my channel, so I will give you this knowledge for free also. But if you can't wait, then maybe you should search for some materials, videos, Google something. But it is very important if you want to be a successful entrepreneur. Elon Musk understands it, and you should all understand it as well. That was the Elon Musk's model. It works because Elon earns money. And I created this model searching for his interviews, watching his videos, reading the books about him. So consuming a lot of stuff relating to him. And that's why I found out those things. And of course, some of them don't apply to your life because you purely don't like them, for example, and it's pretty natural because everyone is different. But most of them will make your life better. So pick those and just implement in your life. Of course, they sound like simple things, like be likable, but it really means buying a couple of books about how to win friends, maybe watching some YouTube videos, how to get more extrovert or how to be more likable, how to communicate with people, how to improve your linguistics. So, although this episode was not too short, but still working on those things in order to make them grow in your life will take months, if not years. So it's pretty enough work to do, but they work. So I wish you all the best, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I definitely hope that you will take advantage of this knowledge into your future life. And so I hope to see you on my channel the very next week, in the very next episode. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best. See you.